before we get into the core of what is, it's best to be as honest from the mind as possible. To be or exist as, let's say, a person, a human, a form, and journey into the pure self, the original self, through whatever process, be it enlightenment, be it just a change of mind, be it a profound shift in consciousness. One goes from one to the other, from duality to non-duality. But it can happen the other way. One goes from pure, original self on a journey into becoming the person, the human, the form. These are two opposing ways, but they're based on the two outcomes. All through life, that's all that takes place. Journeying from one to the other. Sometimes frequently, sometimes from the beginning of life to the end of the body life. Sometimes from the end of the body life to the beginning of life. Back and forth, swinging like that pendulum. There is a third way. The third way is the way of Buddha. The third way is when there's non-participating in beginning and end, but not even participating in the middle, the journey, the swinging pendulum, the ticking clock, the time bomb. So we can go from birth to death or death to birth. We can go from consciousness to God, or God to consciousness. We can go from child to pensioner, or pensioner to child, because it's all mind states. You see, the pensioner becomes the child in that last stages of life, that simplistic way. But a child also is becoming the pensioner in that old, stale, burdening, intelligent mind way. So it matters not which way you are. Matters not if you believe you're the person. Matters not if there's no belief, there's no hope, there's no interest, there's no fear. Matters not if there are all these things. Belief, hope, fear, attachment, associations, one or the other. Because whatever takes place, you're going to go to the other. Same as this belief, from this side to the other side. So what? It's just a shift in mind, a shift in thought, a shift in I, the person, becoming something other than that, what the person is, but not moving into the other, because the other and the person are the same. They are that Buddha state in between opposing journeys. Now that's cleared, can look at the truth of this middle state. There is only one subject, and it's not based on the object, nor is it based on a name or an opposing value. The subject is the only subject. Does I exist? Does I involves God, consciousness, spirituality, all the things that the mind has made up for you to seek, for it to seek through its own knowledge, intelligence, conditioned, programmed, and learned ways. But this seeking of I that exists, this is not a personal subject, acting as if the inquirer is I. So, is this I based on an individual inquiry looking for an individual result? It cannot be based on singular, because I is the most common in all individuals. This I is locating the same experience as the original I. I exist. Even in the personal, which is an idea or thought born from this I, this original I. So what is I before it is digested and stored as if this thinker of I is? Emptiness, infinitely whole. It becomes conscious of its own emptiness. But has the capacity to see itself as infinite qualities when it loses sight of its true state, believing it is broken, segmented, and lost in a world of personal. Personal is a life of loss, and when it convinced itself this loss is a death, it lives constantly in this fear. The shock is to recover itself in the mirror-like reflection of the mountain in the lake. The mountain in the lake sees itself as the mountain that stands above the lake. This shock calls upon itself with the words, "Only consciousness exists, and I, whatever I is infinitely born to remind itself of that it knows." God is the moment of this seeing, the shock. The shock vibrates into a tremor of pulsating God. God is the moment that makes time as ongoing, pulsating moments until the shock settles into itself, returning as pure, stable, placid consciousness. I remains as the experience of this moment. Awakening is the gasp of seeing I for that what it is, as the link between God and its immortal self as consciousness, all-pervading, living life as all-encompassing I. as it is. Reflect wisely, but not as an individual personal I. I is much more than the thought I exist. I is all that exists beyond consciousness. No beginning and no end. Infinite, immortal, and the true emptiness as pulsating appearances, until settling in the source of whole consciousness, God and self as one. Beyond is I, and I is beyond, none greater, none smaller. In the moment of the shock, the whole self gives birth to God. To soften the expansion of living as this alive something world. It's the most fearsome knowing to be alive. So the idea I need comfort in knowing something greater than I will care and support throughout this infinite life. This creates the self as empty consciousness to awaken the true God into a possible living state God, to protect I, the whole self. All is good until the personal I starts believing it is so important. It then demands protection from the God I created. This is ego, superiority, and pulsates its superior now lazy presence to what is now seen as singular persons, to keep its now nourished mind in the superior position as the creator of God and life. To understand life is to realize the greatness of I, but knowing I is nothing without consciousness, which of course is all who bear it. So, to be true, happy and truly alive, this greatness is not divided, but is equally balanced in all, reflecting in all ways. So the one that believes in the me person, I am, will always suffer this secondary state. Truth is primary consciousness, or emptiness, is all that exists. God exists beyond, but not as the fabricated God the mind makes up through its beliefs. Leave this mind made God. Leave it alone. In fact, leave mind to be as it is, to be as it shouts or whispers. Just pay it no attention. Don't live in the state of hope. It is now, always now. Where can this moment go? Where can I go? Where can consciousness go? If there is some sort of going, then all has to go as one. This is just another thought. All is still. All is silent. All is essence, until the state of success, happiness, gain, loss, birth, and death are born from the rogue mind ego. Who experienced this birth? That what experienced this birth will therefore experience this death. Who has a genuine story to tell about their own birth? No mind knows. Be grateful Death is also a constructed thought. No mind will know it, just like in the awakening. The transition of rebirth takes place with no knower, because the story had to go. So what's the driving force to create this person's story? Why waste another life, jingling the bell of mind, shouting, "Look at me," or "Poor me"? Emptiness knows itself. I cannot see another as other. It is total freedom as pure consciousness. But first, I has to kill the driver and the destination. The drive is infinite, ongoing, and free from suffering, depression, and fear. Not many on the genuine bus, all out fighting for a seat or pretending to wait for the next bus. A comfier seat or different color of bus, different type, maybe luxury interiors. You see, the door won't open until the passenger surrenders itself to the journey. To experience source is the whistle for the bus to stop en route, once you're aboard, of course, and to let the final mind on board. Then no more driving, just eternal bliss, love for all who are on the bus, and for those still not boarded, a simple regret and prayer that they see the headlights in the dark within themselves, and they follow these headlights into the horror for the mind. For the most placid and tranquil journey as beyond I. Rumi eloquently projects through his poetry, his words. If I exist as whole, as holy, as infinite, as immortal, as pure, as love, as God. When seen as Rumi sees, the emptiness becomes nothing. The somethingness becomes everything. I'm on the next bus, awaiting a destination that never, ever will come. The bus is a dream, dreaming about itself, finding, knowing, loving, and even forming a relationship with itself. From the mind of this appearing and disappearing speaker, there's nothing to say about God other than a voice within. There's nothing to say about religion other than it's just part of the dream. There's nothing to say about consciousness. It is undiminishing, omnipotent, omnipresent, untarnished, unknowing being as it is. It has everything to say about a tower that is not personal. It holds no me, no minuscule I in its abode, in its dwelling position. It stretches infinitely, with no end, no boundaries, no limitations. It holds the infinite possibilities of becoming or not becoming what the infinite possibilities point at. The moment I is seen as not this I, this body shakes, trembles, and falls to the floor, picks itself up, smiles, looks inward, and a voice says, "What now, my son? How many more lives does it need for you to realize you're always here, always now, always in all ways? You're not the dream, you're not the person, you're not the consciousness, you're not the I, you're not the soul, you're not the spirit, you're not the doer, you're not the thought, you're not the mind, you were never the ego. You are what you know you are. Empty, pure, still, silent, contented, Buddha state, love. No, be that. Be that, and the journey will be infinite, and there'll be no going anywhere, no passing, no coming, no ideas, no desires. You have found a desire that I has led you to home as the truth that you will never not. Is there anything you want to say, my son? That's the word I'm looking for, says God. No words. Just presence being. My word to you and to all that are dreaming and all that you see with around you as here in this empty void of placid love. My word to all is thank you. Thank you for enrolling in this game of life. You're now the witness. Be the witness. Observe and see all coming home. And prepare a banquet, a feast. And this emptiness. I gave as a reflection, an image of my whole encompassing God self that I am. Welcome home.